plane leaves from the airfield near Atlanta. On board the airplane is an emergency doctor. The destination, North Korea. The mission is to rescue an American citizen who was sentenced to 15 years in labor camp because he was accused of stealing the poster. Is that the truth, or behind it all lays something more evil? An ongoing arm wrestle between two power-hungry nations, looking to establish dominance over one another. Theft, secrecy, mind games, and so much more. Take a seat and let me tell you a story about stolen poster, unspeakable torture, and the reality of North Korea. We were all young once upon a time, right? And a part of being young means that you make mistakes. And hopefully you learn from them. Unfortunately for Otto Warmbier, he would instead learn about the dark underbelly of North Korea, following a mistake of his own. After high school, Otto attended the University of Virginia on a scholarship, in the hopes of becoming a successful banker. With a career in finance looming, Otto decided to take an adventure of a lifetime and experience new cultures in Hong Kong and North Korea. Now, sure, we can all sit here and say that's a bad idea. But for the young guy eager to explore, North Korea sounded ideal, a venture into unknown. So off he went with a group known as the Young Pioneer Tours as they departed from China to North Korea. Surprisingly, the 5 days of the tour had gone pretty well until the group arrived at the Pyongyang airport on the final day. It was here that Otto was arrested for what was described as a hostile act against the state of North Korea, whatever that means. Shrouded in secrecy, his loved ones awaited for any communication. Talks began between political figures, but nothing seemed to come of it until a massive shift in the political landscape in the US. Obama completed his time in the White House, and the most controversial man ever seen in American politics stormed through the front door.
The transfer of power is complete as Donald Trump officially becomes the 45th president of the United States.
With his message of making America great again, Trump aimed to get all Americans released in North Korea. Several talks took place until in June 2017, news of Otto's medical conditions surfaced, which prompted swift action. They needed to save Otto before it was too late. Trump learned that Otto was unconscious and knew something had to be done. In stepped Dr. Michael Flakinger to head up the rescue team, being sent from Atlanta deep into the heart of the enemy. Dr. Flakinger was an emergency medical practitioner with one goal in mind: to save Otto. Getting into North Korea is one thing, but to get an American out of North Korea who's being kept as a hostage, well, that's just madness. Treating it like a James Bond mission. Dr. Flakinger told no one about what he was about to be involved in, but somehow with all the talks, when arriving into Pyongyang, Dr. Flakinger and his team were escorted to the hospital where Otto had been for the past 15 months. After Otto's arrest, little was known about his whereabouts or what was to come until the infamous video surfaced. A video was released from Otto's court hearing, where he tearfully admitted to making the worst mistakes of his life. This was clearly a performative apology, with a clearly distressed Otto pleading for his freedom.
I have made the worst mistake of my life.
Allegedly, Otto had stolen a propaganda poster in North Korea in exchange for a car. But was he making these admissions willfully, or was he being forced into it by forces behind the curtain?
Warmbier was arrested, charged, and sentenced to 15 years of hard labor.
To 15 years of hard labor.
That sounds like a real-life nightmare right there. Otto had become a pawn in a game far beyond the realms of his comprehension. Not long before his harsh sentencing, Otto's medical condition took a turn for the worse. Fortunately for him, the help was on the way, which brings us to the hospital in Pyongyang. Much to the surprise of Dr. Flakinger, when he was allowed to enter Otto's hospital room, Otto was not in a coma at all. He was awake. But would the good news continue? The doctor examined Otto and was curious how he had got into the condition he was in, but at least he was reactive to noise and touch. Many different reasons were brought up by North Koreans, but to be honest, none quite made sense for Otto's conditions to be as bad as it was. Was this just result of the torture? Dr. Flakinger couldn't find any signs that it was conclusively a torture. and in fact went on record to say that he in fact had adequate medical care. Although doctors could examine him, Otto was still a prisoner with no possible escape for now. In came a judge, and in mid-June, by some miracle, Otto was allowed to leave North Korea with Dr. Flackinger, who noted that Otto struggled during the trip.
The Ohio man now being released from North Korea.
First video of the plane bringing tri-state native Otto Warmbier back home.
But the Otto that left North Korea was not the same Otto that had arrived there 15 months before. Otto returned home to the United States of America, and despite his deteriorating medical condition, he was responsive to the sound of his parents' voice. Otto was carried from the plane back onto home soil, but based on the photo taken of Otto, things didn't look good. Would there be light at the end of this dark tunnel? Or would Otto Warmbier's tragic tale end in fatal fashion? Dr. Daniel Kanter assessed Otto's condition and confirmed that he showed no signs of understanding language in response to verbal commands. To add fuel to the fire, Otto had no awareness of his surroundings, and from then onwards, it was a downward spiral until finally Otto Warmbier's family decided to pull the plug on his life support. A sad ending to a life filled with so much promise and potential. But was there something far more sinister at play here? It had long been a belief that Otto ended up in a vegetative state as a result of a severe torture while in North Korea, but so many unanswered questions remain, meaning that the media can only continue to speculate. The fact that is not up for debate, however, is that Otto was taken from this world far too soon, and that the last few years of his life could be described as a tragedy. Perhaps even more tragic was that he was used as a bargaining chip and a pawn in a political battle between two superpowers. I mean, things went too good between America and North Korea in 2017, but the relations seem to have improved since. So much so that Trump even stated that he believed Kim Jong-un had no hand in the matter of Otto Warmbier, a statement which is disputed by many American citizens. Otto's story is one of sadness, with underlying lesson being to not assume that the rest of the world follows the same lessons as your country does. And yeah, maybe stay away from North Korea as a potential holiday destination. Whether relations with North Korea improves or not, it is safe to say that it remains a repressive dictatorship that forces its people to worship the country's leader. Any criticism or anti-Kim Jong-un propaganda is said to be met with harsh punishment. This way of thinking can only result in keeping North Korea in the dark ages, a country worlds apart of the rest of the planet Earth, isolated with no future ahead of it. A crazy story with a sad ending, and believe it or not, we've got plenty more just like it. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love our breakdown of the day a dictator was executed on live TV and the day a delivery turned deadly. For plenty more amazing videos just like this, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Until the next time, thanks for watching.